Today we're going to talk about 7 things I dislike about America. You heard that right. I'm going to give you 7 reasons. Not 1, not 3, not 5, but 7 reasons. And if you decide to watch this video until the end, I'm giving you a bonus reason. Okay? One of the biggest reasons why you should not live in America. Before I'm going to unload all the bad stuff, because I don't want to sound like someone who's just criticizing America, because at the end of the day, America is a great country. America is well known for its freedom of speech, for its business opportunities, for its open-minded people in many cases. But America still has a lot of problems that many people never seem to understand because they don't know that these problems actually exist. But yeah, the point of this video is not to talk bad about America, but to really address the truth. Because I believe every place, every country, every city in the entire world has pros and cons, and America is no exception. The first reason is that American cities are not walkable. It's very difficult to walk to places, unless you live maybe in a place like New York, it's probably easier. But if you live in any other place, I would say New York, maybe Miami, possibly downtown Los Angeles. Generally, I would say downtowns are exceptions. However, if you live in smaller cities or even in bigger cities but not downtown, you're going to have problems, okay? Lack of sidewalks, it's very far to get to the next supermarket. So guess what Americans do? They go everywhere by car. Nobody walks in this country anymore. Everyone just drives the car to the convenience store, to Walmart, Target, Best Buy. It doesn't matter where Americans go, they go there by car. They rarely walk, they just don't. And there's a lot of problems associated with that. I don't have to tell you how bad it is for your health to be seated on all times. It's very bad for your heart. Your heart needs to pump, it should accelerate. Now, if you sit all the time, it's stagnant, right? It's very bad for your overall health. And let's not even talk about your back, your hips, and becoming overweight and all the other problems associated with lack of exercise. So yeah, you do need a car to go anywhere in the US. The second reason why I hate America is because of the enormously high cost of living. America is one of the most expensive places to live in the entire world, but that doesn't mean that high cost comes with high quality of life, because in many cases in the US it really doesn't. If you take a look at the United States, let's say you're a single guy like me. If you want to rent a studio or 1-bedroom apartment in a decent city, decent location, it's going to cost you probably at least $1,300 to $1,500. And in many cases right now, because of inflation and because of the shortage of properties available on the market, it could be much more than $1,500 for a tiny 400 to 500 square feet apartment, okay? That's going to cost you at least $1,300 to $1,500 right now, unless you're living in a very obscure location in southern Texas or Oklahoma, any of the cheaper areas in the country where you could possibly find it for, I don't know, maybe $700 to $1,000. But in most places, it will cost you a lot. And let's have a look at how much it will cost you to rent a decent apartment, like a 3 or 4 bedroom apartment. It can easily cost you $2,500 to $3,500 depending on neighborhood. American houses and apartments mostly come unfurnished. I'm talking 98-99% of properties, right? So they come with a fridge, stove, dishwasher, washer, dryer, but that's usually it, right? Anything else you pretty much have to buy yourself. And it can be a little bit problematic because if you are moving a lot, then how are you going to move from one state to another with all this stuff? Yeah, you can do U-Haul, but is it really realistic? You want to bring all this stuff with you, and how about your car? Yeah, I guess you could make that happen, but again, there's cost involved in order to make this happen. It is just not so convenient in places like Europe, or if you take a look at Southeast Asia or Latin America, most apartments come furnished, right? So they come with a bed, a mattress, a dining table, dining chairs, office desks, sometimes even cupboards and everything. So it's just a lot more conducive to not having to worry about all this stuff, all these problems associated with furnishing an apartment. That's why a lot of people don't want to live in America, and that's why I personally hate living in America as well. The third reason why I hate America is because of its climate. Most of America has continental climate, meaning cold winters, super hot summers. It's either super cold or super hot, but there's just a couple months a year where the weather is pleasant. But the remaining of the year, you're going to have a hard time. It's either too cold, meaning you need heating for many months a year. If you live in a place like Nebraska, if you live in a place like Michigan, South Dakota, North Dakota, you know, all these colder states, they don't really have pleasant climate throughout the year. Yeah, they have summers, but the summers are generally smoking hot there. And there's no real nice long transition, you know, that you have in places like Europe, or that you have maybe in some places even in Latin America. So with that being said, the climate is not really great. Some exceptions, of course, include Southern California, perhaps parts of Texas. Corpus Christi doesn't have too bad of a climate, I guess. Florida also. I mean, generally speaking, on the coast, it's a little bit better, especially in the southern states. But other than that, the climate can be a little bit harsh. Fourth reason why I hate America, one of the biggest, most obvious reasons that even people who don't live in America witness all the time, which is the news. The news in America is downright negative because that's how the media gets your attention. If everything was positive, if everything was about sunshines and unicorns, if everything was about how beautiful, how great, how perfect, and how few problems we have on this planet, if the media was talking about all these positive things, guess what? You would have a more positive view perspective of the world. And chances are you wouldn't be watching the news as much as if what the news is actually doing right now is telling people how bad everything is, how bad the other political party is. Democrats are talking very bad about Republicans. Republicans, on the other hand, are talking very bad about Democrats. You know, like there's no unity when it comes to politics in America. It's very different than other nations, than other continents. And it's not just only about politics, it's about everything. The media is, I want to say, more than 90% negative. You rarely hear anything positive. There's a lot of positive things happening in the world, but they're just not being reported. Why? Because people are drawn to bad energy. People are drawn to the negative, the things that don't work, the things that we need to fix, you know? So with that being said, it is used as a weapon to get your attention and to keep your attention and to get you converted and to just make sure you're more anxious, more scared, more insecure than ever before. If the media achieved this target, you're the media's puppet. Another reason why I hate America is because of its people. And when I say because of its people, I'm not talking about the great Americans that I met abroad, the ones that left America for the very same reasons that I'm discussing with you in this video, the very same reasons that you get to know right now. No, I'm not talking about these people, because the people that move abroad are usually the most educated, the most welcoming, the most understanding. They speak more languages. They have a real worldview, not a media-based worldview. They actually get to experience life, other cultures, other continents, other countries themselves. And that's why, in my opinion, they're better people than people that are just stuck in one place all the time and they think everything that the media tells them is how it is, instead of going out there and exploring the world themselves and shaping opinions for themselves and not listening to the opinion of a third party. Unfortunately, that's what a lot of Americans do that live in the US, that have never been abroad. They have never been to Canada, never been to Mexico, and let's not even talk about Europe, Africa, South America, Asia, Australia. They've never been to any of these, and that's most Americans anyway. And it's really difficult if you want to make friends with people in America, because the people that don't travel, they're not well traveled, they're also not well educated, in my opinion. You know, they only good at one thing. You know, a lot of people are good at business. Well, great, cool. Okay, if money is the only goal, that's good for you, right? Go for it, chase it. I mean, we're all driven by success. I'm driven by success too, but I want to be well-rounded. I want to be educated. I want to speak multiple languages, and I do. I speak German, Spanish, English, Japanese, right? And I'm not saying this to uplift myself, but I'm telling you this because the Americans that I met abroad, they are just nicer people. They're more understanding of the world, and they know that things that happen in the US, or how Americans that live in the US that have never been abroad view the world, is not how the world actually looks like. And yeah, that also really has a lot to do with the entitlement mindset. Americans haven't failed in a long time. You know, the generations that are running around today, they were born into wealth. But one of the key factors here is that America doesn't manufacture anymore. America just imports. And it uses its dollars to purchase goods and services. There's no real manufacturing going on anymore. It's just about mass consumption everywhere. Mass consumption, people going out, eating food, eating bad foods. And that's actually another another point that I'm going to talk about here in a moment. But good times make bad people, and bad times make good people. Just take a look at your ancestors who built this country, the hardworking people who sacrificed, who didn't have the luxury to go out to spend all their money on stupid things, because that's what Americans love to do, to buy things that they don't need. You know, and to buy unhealthy stuff. So the next point is the food, okay? The food safety in America is worse than in most other countries on the planet. And what I mean by food safety is how nutritious the food is and what they put in the food to make you addicted to the food. If we take a look at all the franchises, Burger King, McDonald's, Whataburger, KFC, Dunkin' Donuts, and all the other franchises, you know, they're not making this food to do you any good. Whatever they put inside the food is inside the food because of profit. Salt, fat, sugar. That's what's inside the food because it gets the brain pumping, you know, because the brain is drawn towards it. The brain is drawn towards food. And that's why there's a lot of preservatives, you know, a lot of additives that make the food more tasty, because they know if the food is more tasty, you're going to eat more of it. Your brain gets addicted. If you take a look at preservatives, they just make sure the food lasts longer, but additives, food additives, make the food more delicious. They make you want to eat more because it releases dopamine in the brain. And it's a whole trick, and people don't get it. And it's really difficult to get it if you've been in this hamster wheel for your entire life. But what you're actually putting inside your body is just horrible, because you're going to spend more on healthcare. You're going to get overweight, sooner or later obese, if you aren't overweight or obese yet. So it is a vicious cycle, but the food in America is not about nutrition. It really isn't. So when I lived in the US, I cooked at home most of the time because I'm not put this garbage inside my body, because my body is a living organism. My body is not a trash bin, because that's, in my opinion, that's where it belongs to. So if you put garbage in your head, you're gonna get garbage as an output, right? It's just a natural cycle. So the best thing you can do is stay away from this food altogether. But it's difficult because people are in a hamster wheel and they just keep eating it, and because it's so addictive, and you know, the fat, sugar, the salt, high protein, and processed food, it's just horrible. You know, it's difficult to see if you've never been abroad. So I really feel bad for people that have never gotten to know a different culture and different cuisines. I mean, really freshly prepared food, nutritious food. They're paying a high price for the lack of education. And the seventh reason why I hate America is because of the lack of culture. What do I mean by that? Well, if you've been to Asia, Europe, Latin America, there's more culture there. There's just more culture there, you know, there's more outdoor dining experience, you know, people are more modest. And then antique buildings and monuments. The US doesn't really have much. It has some monuments and antique buildings, but in very few places. So all you see is plaza after plaza after plaza, you know? So no wonder why people get addicted to shopping, because that's all there is. It's not a cultural experience, you know? It's not a nice, healthy experience. Places you can walk to, it's all just plaza, plaza, plaza. There's not a whole lot to see in America. It's very boring. It's just about spending money. It's about getting the newest things. It's about superficial things. That's what it is. It's about materialistic bullshit. That's what it's about. It's not about, you know, you going out and having a good time. That's not what it's about. It's about you going out there and spending money, making other people rich, putting bad stuff inside your body, buying things you don't need with money you don't have. It's just a horrible cycle. Okay, before we're going to end this video, I want to give you a bonus reason why I hate America. And it's a big one. It's the healthcare system. The healthcare system in America is bad. It's so bad that people go broke just to get healthcare. And it shouldn't be like this. Healthcare should be affordable for everyone. The government has done a really bad job at regulating healthcare. They're letting these big corporations take full control over healthcare, and all they care about is taking money from you. They don't care about your health. They actually want you to spend more money even though you don't need it in order to be healthy. You know, and that's also partly the problem because of food. The bad food you eat, the lack of exercise, oh my God, it leads to you needing more health care. And then when you need health care, it's so expensive that you can't afford it. And when you can't afford it, guess what's going to happen? You know, you run up hospital bills, medical bills that you can't pay. And so people get into debt. It's a very sad story. It really is. It shouldn't be like this. I don't think it's ever going to change. You know it's never going to change, because who's going to change it? Politicians run on it all the time but never do anything about it. They always talk about how they're going to change and make healthcare more affordable, but has it ever happened? No, it hasn't, because there's too much money in it. Lobbyists and donors will do anything to protect their turf. You are that turf. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know I've been a little bit harsh, I've been a little bit direct, I've been a little bit too honest about the main reasons why not only myself but also other people hate America. Taking a look right now at the whole situation, are you currently living in America? If so, what's your experience and why do you hate living in America? Now that you've watched this video, would you still want to live in America? Leave a comment below and let us know. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'm uploading new videos on travel updates, visas, and digital nomad locations several times a week right now. Before I let you go, I got 3 recommendations for you. Recommendation 1, I created a completely free ebook on how you can retain a life of complete freedom during challenging times, meaning the times that we're in right now. If you want to get a free copy of this ebook, you can do so by clicking on the link below the video. Recommendation 2, I shared a video on countries with easy residence permits. If you want to find out what these countries are and what these residence permits are, click on the link right here. And recommendation 3, I shared another video on the cheapest and safest countries to live in the entire world. If you want to check out this video, click on the link right here. Thank you for watching.